All right, hello guys. Here we are. Arthur Fils, Jan-Lennard, Struff. Obviously, this is the second round in Paris. As you can see, there are a few other matches going on at the same time. Daniel Medvedev just lost to Alexei Popyrin, which I mean, it's not a massive surprise. Needless to say, I think I was saying on one of the shows, or I don't remember, somewhere last week. Basically, I said that like if people are suggesting Popyrin is playing pretty poorly right now, like I don't know, they're just looking at him losing three of his last four matches, but they're not looking as who he lost. He's still playing, quite as well as like just as well as he was in maybe not Montreal, but like the U.S. Open. And Daniel, of course, struggling with that shoulder. That's not helping. His serve is a little. He's not even his serve, but even the forehand is definitely hampered. I think the end of the season can't come soon enough for him. Dimitrov survived though, which is important for the ATP Finals conversation. And Rinderknecht defeated Mikkelsen, and now we're gonna have pretty much three new matches, if you may, because the three that came first were all pretty long. So obviously that's Umber Giron, obviously that's Bergs Manarino, which has already started and has been going on for a few games. And here we're going to be watching Fils against Struff. That's on the main court in Paris. Of course, Arthur being a big draw there. When it comes to Struff, he's been out with a hip injury, just came back last week in Vienna, won the first set against the Minor, lost the next two 2-6 each. He also won the set. The set that he won was also a 6-2. Then in Paris, he comes in here and he beats Lorenzo Musetti in the opening round. So, well, I mean, obviously he has a lot of weapons. Obviously he has a good indoor game. And Fils will have to be on his best behavior, I think. There were some moments against Marin Cilic in the opening round when he was really letting Marin into the match. One of them happened like way too long, way too late for that to actually happen. Whereas I think the first one, obviously, Cilic served for the set at 6-5. That was the point when he could have actually got something done in that match. Eventually didn't, but yeah, I think Arthur and Paris, it's been a bit of a rocky relationship, both with Roland Garros and with this event, actually. Of course, Roland Garros, he was the runner-up in the boys' singles, but then the round one losses the last 2 years were actually pretty rough. Well, good opposition, but rough in terms of how he played. And here in Paris, in Bercy in 2022, he had a great story. He qualified, he beats Fonini, then he draws Fonini again and loses to him, but still, that was another great showcase for his potential. And last year, he was already saying at this part of the year that like he's tired with the season, that he wants it to be over, and that's how he looked as well against Daniel Altmaier in the opening round. So, well, let's see. I mean, he fell to love 30 instantly here, but that should be a great point from him. Yes, indeed. Very smart with some of his placement here. I thought the serve was probably like close to out. And Struff played this accidental return, which actually could have been a bit tricky for Mr. Fils, but he is able to direct his forehand around the court very well, wrap it up at the net, and gets to 40-30. They haven't played yet, so we don't have any head-to-head data or anything like that. Favorites, I mean, still Arthur, but on a court like this, you have to wonder, I suppose. There's going to be a challenge here from Fields on this serve. I would have also thought it was in, but I don't know. Obviously, I'm just sitting here and well, my eyes might be off, but no, they're not. It was in, so it is an ace for Arthur Fields. This was pretty clearly in, I would say. Yeah, it's well, it's a pretty poor call, but it is what it is. Paris is one of these events that still use line umpires, evidently, and well, we'll see. Maybe we'll have some drama related to that as well, as we pretty much have all the time on the ATP tour recently. What was it? No, today I saw a horrendous call on the Bratislava streaming. Diallo was playing Herbert, and one of the forehands that Diallo played, like a pretty curly shot close to the line. It was just insane. I mean, it was just insane that it was called out, is what I'm trying to say. Later on, of course, we'll also have like Zverev against Hrigspor, another seed in trouble, another high seed in trouble at the very least. We're going to have the Minor playing Kecmanovic, which is pretty crucial for the ATP Finals race too. Alex, of course, being close to the top 8 spots, and in fact, he only needs 2 more wins to pass Rublev. If, in the case of Dimitrov that I mentioned earlier, I mean, it's just a long shot, right? I mean, he would have to at least make the final here, I think. Fields is out of contention, so this match we're watching definitely with zero. You know, yeah, we're not really focusing on the race here because yeah, Arthur is already out of it. Of course, Jan-Lennard Struff is also out of the ATP Finals race, shockingly. That's a double fault from Struff after a wild forehand inside in, so 15-30 in his first service game of the match. I didn't see Struff playing the Minor last week in Vienna. I also didn't watch his match against Musetti, so I guess that would make me pretty unaware of where the German is after that hip injury. Recently, we had an interview with him on the channel when John was at the UTS exhibition in Frankfurt. So do check that out after this stream if you want to know more about what was keeping him from the courts. Very nice guy. So the interview also is, I think, worthwhile. Oh, wow. Who's going to win this point? This seems pretty crucial. Arthur is running around like a madman. He's going to get to this as well. Wow. Is he going to put in the lob? He is. This is an insane point. If this is finished in like any sensible manner, you will see this on tennis TV. But now actually it ends on a Fields back and unforced error. But his dynamic sprinting around the court here was just incredible, to be honest. Fields, even though Struff wins the point, it's definitely Arthur who impressed a bit more, I think, in this rally. To get to this one and to come back here, still put the lob in on the baseline. And then, of course, he actually messes up on, well, one of the easier shots he had to play of the Struff slice. But it is what it is, right? That happens a lot. You make 3 ridiculous gets, and then you get that easy ball, and yeah, suddenly it's much tougher to just adjust to the change of pace. Good stuff from Struff to slice it, I guess, but also it was a bit forced because the previous backhand of Fields just touched the net a little, so I think he was reacting quickly. By the way, speaking of good stuff, this is a return winner from Fields. He just absolutely smashes that Struff second serve cross court, 146 kilometers an hour on the forehand, and we have the first breakpoint of the match for Arthur Fields. His dad and of course Sébastien Grosjean in the box. Just had them on my screen. Up until like June or something like that, he was also working with Sergi Bruguera, but he decided to only stick to Grosjean, and well, things have improved since. A friend of mine from France basically thought both of them were useless as coaches. He was like very disappointed with how Fields was doing. But we had that conversation around like April when he lost to Garin, I think, in Estoril. So probably his opinion has changed since, at least on Grosjean. And this is going to be the break for Fields. He survives after the initial pressure of Struff's serve wears off. He's able to find a really deep, heavy forehand and get the error. So that's a perfect start for Fields. Ace down the tee here too. We know that Arthur can play like this. We also know that he likely won't be playing this focused, this locked in for the first, for the entire match, is what I'm trying to say. Sébastien Grosjean, of course, even got that. They showed him like, in terms of like just him individually on my screen. I believe I will have to check that, but isn't this the one event on the ATP 1000 category that he won? Also, Ivan Ljubicic just behind Fields' dad. Ljubicic is the head coach of the French Tennis Federation, so this is, needless to say, a big week for him. He is basically invested in the development of all players from France around that age. And yes, Paris is the only event that Sébastien Grosjean won on the then Masters Series circuit, now the ATP Thousands. That was in 2001, and the event was still held on carpet back then. He beat Evgeny Kafelnikov in 4 sets. In 4 sets. He also had a final in 1999 in Miami, losing to Richard Krajicek in 4 sets as well. 4 titles only, I guess, given his overall resume, but 4 Grand Slam semis as well, and of course, world number 4 in 2002. And well, right now he seems like he's doing really well with his, after the first half of the year was so disappointing. 2 ATP 500 titles that Arthur has claimed this year, of course. I don't think he's had a 1,000 run, really. At least I don't remember it right now. By a run, I mean anything past like, a quarter or something like that. But with 2 ATP 1000s, I mean 2 ATP 500s, it's coming. I mean, I think we can all see it's coming. Just to make sure I haven't said anything wrong, I will check that. But yeah, I don't think Arthur has had a 1,000 quarter, has he? Yeah, no. Maybe this will be the first. Struff bounces back to 30 all though. And it's a let here, I guess, again. Yeah, but it's a second serve. Arthur putting in the kicker, and Struff will not be able to handle it. So 40-30, looking for that perfect 3-0 start, just separate himself right away and hope to drive towards the end of the set based on this advantage. Let's see if he can actually claim it. Of course, I will be checking the chat momentarily, probably mostly on changeovers, if there's anything there even, because I haven't looked since the match began, probably. Goes backhand line, and it's not precise enough. Jan-Lennard Struff with a great forehand pass. This really needed to be close to the line, and it just wasn't from the Frenchman, who gets passed on this approach. Caught his racket on it, but honestly, yeah, he was in a pretty bad spot here. It's just, yeah, the approach had to be a bit better. It had the pace, but it didn't quite get the precision it needed. It's a great serve tee, but is he gonna have a hard time here? Not really. The ball was like dangerously low after the Struff return, but this time he gets enough width on the forehand inside in, and this forehand passing shot from Struff will not be inside the court. He pretty much shanked it. So one more game point for Fitz. Second serve, probably the kicker to the Struff backhand again, or is he going to surprise a bit, go for that slider tee? Both very possible. He actually goes for the tee, but it's a mistake. I mean, well, I'm looking at it in hindsight, but Struff was ready for it, and Struff just smashes it away for a forehand return winner. Arthur had a 146 kilometer an hour forehand return winner last game. I'd like to know how fast this one was from Struff. Probably not as fast, but ton 30, I think, easily. On the deuce side, he seems to be serving even better, though. The out wide ace here, the ace down the tee that he started the game with as well. Already 5 minutes in this third game of the match, but Fils has another game point to consolidate and convert that early break into a proper lead. This time on the first serve, he goes at the Struff forehand, and there's not as much time for the German to maneuver around it. Yes, John went to UTS. Well, I mean, he lives in Cologne, so it's pretty close to Frankfurt. I don't know what exactly that would be in terms of, his state on the like what he thinks on the UTS. I know I am allergic to it, but that's not because the format is unconventional. If there was a proper like tour event or a challenger that had the same rules, I would be watching it. I'm just not watching it, but I'm not interested. Um, are Fields, GMP, and Jack Draper surpassing Rune? You mean by like not in the rankings now, but just in terms of their overall trajectory? I think only Fields should be able to surpass Rune in general, maybe. But obviously, with Holger, we see that he's still a bit lost in the sense that, like, obviously, he's not really utilizing his potential to the fullest. I would say probably out of these four, Pechi Pericard is the closest right now to like really making use of what he has. Draper getting there too. Fields and Rune is still quite wild, and especially Holger, the lack of stabilization and everything. And yeah, I think in like a world where everyone uses the most that they have, Rune is still ahead of these guys, but I'm not confident anymore that he will be. And yeah, Paris, as you said, it's a great opportunity for him. I think obviously he can still even make the ATP finals if he wins the title and then goes on to like make a run or in Belgrade or Metz. I can't remember which one of these he signed up for, but one of them anyway. If he was to do that, he actually could still make the ATP finals, which would be amazing from here. But just keeping it realistic. I mean, he was the winner in Paris 2 years ago. Obviously, he likes these courts. Last year, great match with Djokovic too. And yeah, if Rune is able to play like he was yesterday against Arnaldi, sky's the limit for him in this event at the very least. And then that could potentially set him up well for 2025. The other day, I saw a poll on Twitter where their Holger Rune will be ranked in the top 5 at the end of 2025. I mean, the person who asked this, John, by the way, he sometimes shows up on the stream. I'm assuming he's not here today, but if he is, definitely cheers to him. Anyway, I wanted to say that I think I had to click in the poll that he won't. And I wanted to say that obviously the person who made the poll acknowledge that it's way too early and that there's so many variables, and I do acknowledge that too. And it's unfortunate that I had to click no, but well, maybe the potential is obviously there. It's just been a bit of a mess, but I agree that Paris is a good opportunity for him to get this back. He's working with Lars Christensen again for the 50th time, and maybe this will be the winning partnership once more. Jan-Lennard Struff with a super quick hold. This is exactly what he wanted after this changeover. There was a great serve and volley point on the first one. I mean, love the technique. Obviously, we expect this from Struff. Fantastic doubles player, fantastic volleyer in singles as well. And yeah, after that, just kept going like this with great serves. So 3-1 up, no feels, but Struff is on the board and maybe it will let him loosen up a little bit. I mean, he was loosened up earlier, I think, but just yeah, allow him to get some stability in this match and potentially fight to regain that break back. Is this out from Fields? I think so. Thin line here between getting this in and potentially drawing the error. Ooh, but this one, I mean, this one Fields has to make. It's a +1 backhand right into the middle of the net. If he had more time on it, he would obviously be more comfortable running around, but still, at least get this shot in and then see what Struff can come up with was gonna be the better strategy, needless to say, than just landing it in the middle of the net. This should be a better point for him, yes, and he actually manages that forehand half volley really nicely. You have to play a shot on these cards. You have to play a shot like this a lot. So I think he's already done it twice in this match, and that's a good sign for him. Average topspin forehand comparison on my screen, basically between Fields and the top 50 players, both on speed and the spin rate. He's obviously way above, but I think I've said it already before that like if you get these like two axes of forehand and forehand speed and also forehand spin rate, and put basically anybody on tour in there, Fields is going to be the dot in the very top right corner. So it's not a surprise that these stats are popping up and that they are favoring him basically against anybody on the planet. But what is not favoring him is that he's going to have to save 2 breakpoints as another aggressive return from Struff does the damage. This one wasn't, going for any winner or anything like that, but just deep taking time away. Arthur should have this next point. Smartly chooses the down the middle forehand. Probably the safest option, as Struff has to choose something, and that will never really be middle. You always go one, either or, really. Well, that's a net chord, but he stays in the point, goes into this slice rally with Struff. I guess that's something that the German will be feeling a bit more comfortable in. But it's a good switch up from Fierce. Okay, yeah, he decides to exit that, hit a topspin backhand, gets the shorter ball, goes to the net, and honestly, very tough volley here. I think he almost floated it out, actually. Like, I don't think it was comfortable. He had to like really stretch for it on the forehand, but it goes in, thankfully for him, because, yeah, I don't think that was fully controlled, but still a great point overall. And he has saved the 2 break points, but is gonna get caught out by a return winner from Struff. I think he has to avoid these like very generic serves to the Struff forehand. Like, okay, obviously you can serve to the Struff forehand, just if you do, you have to try spot serving like very closely to the lines, because this is not working. It's just right in his strike zone. He has good timing. He's standing close to the baseline, and he finds another return winner. So one more breakpoint for the German. This is a better serve, but nice reaction from Struff too, except he will mess up the next slice. That's an opportunity missed for sure. Of course, he wasn't going to be like ahead in the point if that slice lands in, but I mean, he was clearly just trying to not to miss, and still. The Fierce box is really very lively. Huge reactions from them after Arthur saved that breakpoint. And once again, Struff is not slicing the ball back in a defensive position. That's pretty interesting. I mean, obviously, it doesn't really signify anything. I think this will surely get better for him as the match goes on, but that's 2 errors like that in a row, which he definitely could have avoided. This one slightly less. He was like pretty wide out of the court. And another 5-minute game on the field serve, but can he close it out after saving 3 breakpoints? The previous one was different in that he had all the chances to end it, right? This one was completely the other way around. It was Struff who always was ahead. And he will remain causing issues here as Arthur tries to go for a huge kicker at the Struff the Struff backhand, but it's a double fault. Of course, we also had the box of Struff shown on our screens, but it's the Ljubicic, Grosjean, and Fils' dad trio that they keep showing to me after almost every point. I don't know if you guys saw it, but there was a video released by the ATP Tour like yesterday or something like that as well with Fils and like the side of him that you don't know or something like that. I only saw a minute clip from that, but it was pretty funny with his dad he talking about like playing every sport with him and everything, and them shooting some hoops. That's Team Pitts as well in the Struff box, the doubles player. I think they withdrew today, didn't they? Kravitz Pitts, I think they withdrew, but I'm not sure if it's Kevin or Team who had the injury or any problem like that. Anyway, one more breakpoint, one more pretty snappy return from Struff, just causing issues for Arthur's timing. And once again, breakpoint, and Struff is gonna net the forehand. This one was different as well. Like, he could have actually had an advantage if he lands that. 28 points played on the field serve, 11 on Struff's, and yet it's Arthur leading 3-1. Of course, this is the third game of fields on serve. Struff has only had 2, but still, I mean, 2 about 6-7 minute games right now on the field serve. He's saved 4 breakpoints in this one. And if he wins it, it will be a really great segue for him to like go into the rest of the set and feel pretty confident. But he's not out of trouble yet. Slicing here, Struff should attack this, but goes a little bit to central. I wonder if that was the play. I mean, if that was the idea. Because that was just like setting the ball up for Fields on a silver platter. I imagine that Struff was gonna go more towards the cross-court angle, or maybe he was actually going middle to kind of limit the angles that Fields can work with. But yeah, in the end, definitely not the right play. Anyway, almost 8 minutes. Fields goes for the outright ace. I think this time he's missed it. It's not like the first game when he was very close and was right in the end. And well, once more, it's a great return from Struff. What? No, the return is long. The German is going to challenge. I don't blame him. Let me see. I thought it was in, but yeah, it's like bang on the line. I wonder what the call is now, because this is definitely not game, and I think in fact it might be deuce. Like I would say I didn't. I'm not actually watching on with sound on, right? But yeah, I mean, Struff is gonna ask if it's a replay, and I don't think it should be a replay. Maybe I will rewind it when this point is over, because I don't think it should be a replay. I think this should be point Struff, but maybe the call was like very early. I'll check that in a second. Anyway, ace down the T from Arthur, so it is 4-1 anyway in the end. But if I'm able to, I actually want to see when that call happened, because this was a wild one as well. Like this ball was bang on the line, wasn't even close to being out. Okay, it turns out my stream doesn't have sound anyway. Even when I thought it had one. Oh no, it does. Okay, so I'm gonna see it in a second. I think this is going to be the second serve from Arthur. Oh yeah, I mean, it definitely should have been point Struff. Like no question about it. The call didn't happen until like Arthur was long past hitting his shot and it went out. So this should have been point Struff 100%. They should have been returning a deuce, not an advantage. But obviously that's a pretty common mistake, and something that we will be getting out of the sport with the electronic line calling and everything. Stabilization, I mean, the fact that Holger has had 20 different coaches in 20 months, and basically they just jump right back in, right? Muratoglu shows up, then he's out, then he's in, then he's out. Lars Christensen the same. Boris Becker was there for a moment, and like, yeah, just the fact that he doesn't have a solid team around him, I think is really hurting him. That's probably what I was referring to back then, because that was 11 minutes ago, and maybe I was talking about something completely different. But I think I was talking about that then. Anyway, when it comes to the other matches, of course, you see them on the screen as well. I'm keeping the scores for you there. Zizou Bergs won the first set over Adrian Manarino, 6-3. Zizou, of course, is a lucky loser into this event. And, well, he seems like he might be using his opportunity perfectly. He defeated Richard Gasquet in the opening round. Very good draw for a lucky loser, I think, at this stage. And Adrian Manarino, I mean, you can't complain about that either. So, I mean, of course, Manarino just defeated Tommy Paul, but, well, he's not quite as good as he was last year. Let's just say that. And Hugo Humbert as well, playing Marcos Giron. Humbert, the last couple of weeks, lots of free setters, very weird body language on the court. We had the watch along from his match against Jerome Kim in Basel, and the way he was acting there, I don't know, he was like so like agitated, and not even in the negative sense, really. Like, he was interacting with his team so much, he was talking constantly. He was way less quiet than usual, and I don't know, just I guess interesting to mention that. Maybe a little less so in that third set against Nakashima the other day, and there you could definitely make the case that the crowd carried him through. Let's see if he can beat Marcos Giron as well. Well, Jan-Lennard Struff suddenly in trouble now after missing all of these breakpoints. 1530. Needs to stay really cautious here. Goes for the serve and volley, and of course it's clean. It's really quite a pleasure to watch this guy at the net, definitely. I think it's out from Arthur, but okay, yeah, this return was faster than my eyesight could really like locate it, but it's actually out. Struff was seven volleying again, and I think he's just barely missed this cannon. There's no way that the German would have hit his racket on it. Okay, block return this time, and Struff tries to approach again, really kind of focusing on that one game plan in this game. But he's gonna miss that first forehand, which would have been the approach shot. So we're back at deuce. This is also like a rapid game, even though we're at deuce, because every single point is lasting 1-2 shots, really. Let's see what Struff does on the second serve here. As I doubt he's going to be approaching again. That might lead to if he's just, yeah, he's staying back. But actually, the kick serve does the damage. So he didn't really need to move. The chance is there to get us to 4-2. But once again, it will have to be on the second serve. Goes T, and he's gonna be in the point at least. Attacking here, but I think this forehand was gonna be out. Yep. I mean, this was gonna be a winner if he lands it. Pretty nice combination from him overall. Just like missed the last one by a tiny bit, but overall, I think his ideas here were good. Forehand unforced errors in this match. Struff 6, Fields 0. Fields, of course, playing a lot of shots on the back foot as well when Struff is serve and volleying like here. So like this shot will not count as an unforced error, but he is making errors that are like, well, let's say, avoidable. So the stat might be a little bit misleading, but well, this is what it is. Game point for Struff. Once more. But he double faults. We have another long one here, but of course this one is even more crucial for the German. He loses this, and there's no way back into the set. At least you would think there's no way back into the set. Try serve and volleying again, but the serve is long. Last couple of times he was able to stun Arthur with a deep serve here. Not this time though. The Frenchman gets into a rally, and getting into a rally in this match is usually good for him. If Struff isn't able to like set himself up well with the serve or the return, most of the time it's going to be a nightmare. And he has the second breakpoint of the match here. He's 1 out of 1. Struff, of course, 0 out of 4, both in the previous game. And yeah, this one, I mean, it would give him a 5-1 lead. It's a good serve from Struff, but it is neutralized, and this time he stays back, trading backhands cross. This isn't a pattern that has to be horrible for him against Fees, definitely not. And actually he manages to overcome the Frenchman in this one. Eventually finds that position where he can like forehand slap from a little bit, and Fees is just tiny bit late on the ball. It's enough for him to net the forehand. So almost 6 minutes in this game already, and Struff has saved the breakpoint. Great serve here. The wide angle just basically making Fields unable to stay within the point even 1 or 2 shots. Of course, this is the last ATP 1000 event of the year. We're gonna have some pretty constant. Well, constant maybe is a stretch, but we're gonna have a lot of coverage from this. I think later today you're gonna have Fritz Draper as well on the channel, and I think it's gonna be Vansh and Matt for that one. Personally, not too excited for Fritz Draper, so I chose a different match, which I found more enjoyable and more suitable with the timing. Average service game duration on our screens feels 552, Struff 339. Obviously, this game just now really raising that stat for Struff, and the last two really raising that stat for Fields. Anyway, I mean, they've only had 3 each, 4-2 Fields now. Struff saving that breakpoint in the last game is, well, just keeping him in the set for now. It would have been really tough to come back if he didn't get that, so good for him. Probably have to find some paper on that changeover. You might hear this, maybe you don't, but I am a bit sick, so it's getting quite runny in my nose. Actually, maybe I have something here. Oh, yeah, I do. Okay. Ace out wide from Fizz. This one must have been just barely in, but Struff definitely saw it, as he's not... I mean, he's not asking for a challenge. He's not questioning it even one beat. It's already the 5th ace of Fizz, by the way. 4 for Struff, both at about 53% first serves in. Which is going to be one of the stats for this match for sure. I mean, we can see how big a deal that is. But even getting the first serve in doesn't guarantee you the point, as Fields evidently shows here. That short ball forehand should have been much better, should have been much easier, but he just hits that with so much spin. And in fact, he overworks it. Once again gets the serve in, but Struff is fighting back in this point. He is attacking and pressuring Fizz for sure, but he's gonna miss the backhand eventually. There were a couple of shots here which like usually will lead to Struff winning the point in this rivalry, which are these forehands. Like I can even call them slaps at the Fizz forehand. Like that's the side where on a quicker court Fizz can definitely struggle and just have issues with the timing. But this time he was able to absorb the pace of them a bit better twice, and that eventually led to him not facing 2 breakpoints here again. So 30 all. Another good return from Struff. Goes for a laser backhand cross court. Probably should get this point done. Yes, indeed. It was all about that one acceleration. After that, just cleans it up nicely with the drop shot volley combo. Yeah, good dropper. I mean, Fizz was there in time, but not in time to actually produce anything of that shot that would potentially confuse Struff or cause him any issues. So one more breakpoint for the German. For the Struff, I wanted to say. What's Jan-Lennard Struff's UTS nickname? I don't know that, but I'm interested now. I mean, well, all their nicknames are like the Mountain or stuff like that, right? Like Shelton's. So it can't be just Struffy, right? Because Struffy generally is his nickname, I think. Anyway, back to deuce. Trading backhands cross again, and again that's a pattern that might favor Struff too. He's got, I don't know if he's more consistent on it, on the backhand cross than Fields, but he definitely has a bit more rampage to unleash there. But that's another breakpoint cleanup from Fierce. Great serve, inside in forehand, perfect. So yeah, it's been tough. Oh no, so apparently they don't have to be like the something, but Struff's UTS nickname was the Thunder. Okay. Shelton the Mountain, yeah, that I knew. Kokinakis. I mean, the Cock. That's a good nickname, and not Cocky. I think the Cock would have been good. The Commander for Umber, I think that's, yeah, that's a little BS. Like, I don't really understand it. Chapo for Shapovalov, very simple. Dominator for team, I guess I've heard that. Lamonth is pretty obvious. Lorenzo Musetti, the illusionist, okay. But no, the Thunder for Struff is, I mean, yeah, sure, he has the weapons and everything, the serve, but yeah, it just feels very impersonal, I'd say. Well, another really good return from him here. He avoids losing this game for now. Another 5-minute one on the field serve. This is like the third in a row. I wonder what would have happened in this point if this squash shot from Fields clears the net, but it didn't. 0 out of 6 on breakpoints already on Jan-Lennard Struff. Can he generate another one at the deuce here? 41 minutes already in this first set, and it's just 4-2. Yeah, so many deuce games. Struff on the attack, and he's gonna force the error from Fields. Yeah, I think if he's like really crushing his forehand and approaching after it, then it's good to go after the forehand of Fields. But if he's raising the ball a little bit, has to whip it, then probably this backhand approach is so much better. And a lot of the time, Artur is gonna struggle to create something out of that corner. So 7th breakpoint in this match already for Struff, and this one is gonna be on the second serve. So if you want more opportunities, this is what you get. But this is the one that I was talking about earlier. This is the serve on the second serve that can surprise Struff. Fields is not going for the kicker to the backhand now, or not going for like a generic forehand, or, generic serve at the Struff forehand, but hitting that slider T on the breakpoint, and it's 7 out of 7 on breakpoint saved, which is pretty brutal. But of course, the job isn't done yet. He still has to win this game somehow, even with Struff causing all of these issues. And well, he double faults in order to, well, not in order to, but he causes himself some more problems by double faulting, and will have to save the 8th breakpoint of the match. How many of them can Jan-Lennard Struff get until he gets one, until he finally takes advantage of one? Will the answer be number 8? Could be, as it's the second serve again. I think just going for the same serve as last time probably won't work now. Yeah, it's the kicker to the backhand again. And this is the chance for Struff, but it's a decent recovery from Fields on the backhand out wide. And he's able to just get the ball pretty deep so that Struff cannot like slap it inside in instantly. He has to still move around, and I don't know, he just does enough for Struff to not have the next shot, just set up for himself. So 8 breakpoints, 8 breakpoints saved. 43 minutes of action already in this first set, and Fields finds another ace down the tee. It's going to be a challenge from Struff. I think it's a bit of a hopeful one, but let's see. So far, the 2 challenges in this match, I think we're both right. It will be, yeah, it's definitely the first one that's incorrect. It's just like bang on the line again, just like that Struff return was at 3-1 game point, where he was cheated out of a point, actually. I mean, cheated is a stretch. The umpire made a mistake, but we've already seen that, guys. This is the point that we already saw like 2 games ago. Basically, it's that cross-court backhand return from Struff. Fields has the backhand line approach, but he's not precise enough on it. And Struff passes him forehand cross. It's literally the same point. Except this one was a bit tougher for the German, definitely. So 6 deuce in this game already. I think this down the T serve from Fields is missing. Such a long game, such a long match so far. Second serve return, so makeable for Struff, but he lands it in the net. 5-2 opportunity for Fields again. 10 minutes on the clock in this game. But he sees the light at the end of the tunnel. Just needs to run towards it now. And meet baby Jesus, which he does with the inside-out forehand winner. So 5-2. Arthur Fields, after saving 4 breakpoints again, it's 0 out of 8 for Jan-Lennard Struff, and it's really the story of this match so far, along with the fact that all the games are like super long, and basically nothing is easy. Avoid the cluster ball. Oh, we have another scoring on our screens as we have the producer. Okay. Yeah, the Cock is a very good nickname, I think. Marcos Giron, your boy, just lost the opening set to Hugo Humbert. 3-6. Well, I mean, Marcos has had a very good season, I think. In form right now as well. Will probably need some messing up from Humbert to win this match, but the last few matches, Humbert was messing up quite a lot. And the match is apparently umpired by Manuel Messina, so maybe the messing up combination will be there. That's idiotic, but yeah. I will definitely avoid the cluster ball. I'm not in Italy, thankfully. Although I once bought something in an Italian pharmacy. I was pretty scared because like my head was just banging. I didn't take my usual migraine medication from Poland. And I was like, okay, I have to do something because otherwise I'm going to die here. So I went to the pharmacy. I was already ready for the fact that probably the pharmacist is not going to speak any English because at least on Sardinia, it was pretty tough. But so I already went in with like, Google Translate of migraine pills or whatever. But he actually did speak very good English. And he said that, these are very, very strong. You have to like eat first and then you take them. And I'm like, yeah, I just ate breakfast, which was true. I wasn't lying to him. But the pills were horrible, to be honest. I don't know if they had clostebol on it. I wasn't checking for it at the time. Probably not. But I did actually buy some medication from an Italian pharmacy once. So I guess the chance is there that I was under clostebol. But yeah, the pills were, I mean, I guess they were okay, but they were just like easing the pain for 3-4 hours. And after that, you had to take them again. So basically, I was taking them all the way until returning to Poland. And then I took my usual meds, which is just makes it go away for a week or something like that. So the difference was definitely there in terms of the quality. That's all I can say about my fascinating journeys in the Italian pharmacy in Cagliari. Fritz Draper, as for me not being excited, yeah, I mean, I think both guys are just really solid at the moment. I'm not really, they don't scream out to me like something like, yeah, I gotta watch this. I don't know. And definitely there are many challenger matches that I will be watching at the same time. I mean, we've got 6 challengers this week. 6 of them, 6 on 6 different continents, which is amazing. It's definitely the first time it's ever happened. We've got 6 challengers, 6 continents in 1 week. Brazzaville, of course, in Congo. That's the new event, probably the weakest entry list in challenger history, but it is what it is. It's a peak tennis hipster mode. Bratislava, fantastic as usual in Europe. Charlottesville in North America, always a staple on the calendar as well, in the indoor swing in the US at the end of the year. Guayaquil, also a famous event by now in Ecuador. And of course, also Sydney and Seoul. So basically, it's the standard plus Brazzaville, which joined like a month, well, maybe like 2 months ago, maybe was added to the schedule. And I'm glad it's there. I think it's bringing up some cool stories. A lot of players are getting their first Challenger wins. Is it the best event we've had? No, but it's a Challenger 50, and eventually the kind of the weaker players, they will be eliminated, right? I think it's very likely that 7 or 6 of the top 8 seeds will be in the quarterfinals. Um, Basically, Ben Locke lost today, and I think Floron Bax might also lose to Singh. I'm not saying it will happen, but it's possible. But the other top 8 seeds are gonna be there, and like by the quarterfinals, it's gonna be a strong Challenger 50 draw actually. Even though the depth of the field obviously was missing, and the qualifying only featured 9 players, 3 of them directly getting into the main draw, 3 of them just playing one match. Hopefully, if this event comes back next year, it's going to be as part of a double, like Kigali in Rwanda was at the beginning of the season. Well, while I was talking, of course, we missed a pretty quick game for Struff. So it's 5-3 fields now. And the last 2 that he had, they were like a nightmare. 0 out of 8 on breakpoints combined, Struff went in these 2. A nightmare, I guess, but a nightmare that ended well. However, this one seems very, very different. Fils sets up 3 set points for himself with the +1 winner. And he now has a chance to close out this very, very tightly contested set. But on the other hand, it's a 6-3. It's still one break, and it's still a set to the good if he can claim that. So after all, it really won't matter. In fact, it might even be positive for him in a way that he saved these 8 breakpoints, because the next time Struff has a chance to break him, he's gonna be a little, even more tentative than he's been. And in fact, he hasn't been really all that tentative. He just hasn't really found that one forehand opening that on some other points he gets, but I guess he was trying at least. And he tries to go for a forehand opening here as well, down the line, but it's going to be long. 6-3 Arthur Fils, very quick couple of games on this after this last changeover, a little over 50 minutes, and Arthur Fils is a set to the good. Umber up a set and a break on Marcos Giron now, and it looks like Adrian Manarino will take it to 3 with Mr. Zizou Bergs. Yeah, 6-3, more aces for Fils. They'll probably show us the stats here. Yes, indeed. 18-12, 11 forehand winners from Arthur, 0 on the backhand. zero backhand winners, 7 unforced errors on the backhand. But yeah, it makes sense. More unreturned serves from Struff, of course, but he's the one who got broken. Of the baseline, feels slightly better. That's not surprising. 44-39, even though it was 6-3. I guess that doesn't actually, it isn't that weird. Forehand of Fils, of course, very, very fast as usual. Similar slice percentage, interestingly. I thought that Struff was probably slicing a lot more. But yeah, the German landing, winning 80% of his first serve points. It's just that he couldn't break Fils, and that's really what killed him here, despite 8 chances. You can look at it 2 ways, On the one hand, he's going to be a little bit more nervous now, and Fils is going to just grow more confident. That is definitely a possibility. On the other hand, I mean, he had so many opportunities, so he's clearly not out of this match. And, well, I think, yeah, it can go 2 ways from here for sure. Which one is more likely? Perhaps the one where Struff gets a little discouraged, if you ask me, but we'll see. I'm not expecting Arthur Fils to be like a super consistent, win every single service game clean guy, right? So the opportunities should still be there from time to time at the very least, I would assume, but we'll see. By the way, this is pretty random, but Dominic Stricker is playing an ITF event in Heraklion. I don't know if you guys saw that. And what is funny about it, he might play Pavlos Tsitsipas in the second round. And of course, Dom eliminated Stefanos from the US Open last year. So it would be a very funny, yeah, you're playing the guy who ruined my US Open chances last year moment. But let's see. I mean, Pavlos is actually 7-5 4-3 up on Stefano Palossi. So the chance is there, even though he was a pretty big underdog pre-match. Stricker playing a couple of ITFs in Heraklion now. Pretty interesting choice. He is 301 in the rankings. Probably couldn't really have played the Bratislava Challenger, but maybe it was still a good call to I don't know. Depends. If he wants to regain like rhythm, confidence, could be good. But today he was really struggling against Soriano Barrera, so I don't know if he'll actually do it. Yes, and this is Jan-Lennard Struff already kicking off the second set. We've got him 40 love up. Not sure why he's apologizing to Fields here. This backhand looked pretty clean to me. I think that's a let. Yeah, Fields thought it wasn't spotted, but I think it was. And this is an ace, okay? That must have been like right on the line from Struff. Anyway, first game goes to the German very easily. He's starting the second set. Really needs these easy holds to try to find more opportunities to pressure Fields. He looks fine physically, which, as I mentioned, this is the first time I'm watching him since that injury. Oh, interesting graph as well about Fields' second serve placement in set one, where like on breakpoint he goes very close to the line, whereas on normal points, not necessarily. That's a good stat for him, I think. Just the fact that he was able to find all these clutch second serves when he had to. Four of them on breakpoints, so we can easily, do the maths that he had 8 breakpoints, Struff, and four of them were on second serve, which kind of only adds up to the fact that yes, he had his opportunities, that's for sure. Anyway, let's see if he can create any danger for Fieldsky right away. Struff considering to challenge this serve. I would say it was probably in, but I don't know. It's rather close for sure. Okay, yeah, barely touched the line. The umpire gave him quite a bit of time there to kind of come up and check the mark, but I don't really have a problem with that, to be honest, even though the rule is maybe a little different. Well, that's another really good serve from Fizz. This time ace out wide, 40 love. Struff got a quick hold to start this second set. Looks like Fizz might be about to do the same. But will it also be to love? No. I mean, decent attempt, I guess, but Fizz is laughing at himself here. You could see what he was trying to do, like just completely wrong foot Struff and play this very soft, precise backhand down the line, but it's misplayed quite a. It missed its mark. Let's just say that. Even Grosjean was laughing about that. Of course, still no harm done if he can win either of the next 2 points, but he can't win the first one. This is the inside-in combo that Struff was looking for on like 2 or 3 breakpoints and just never really connected with it. But yeah, this is definitely one of his best shots. You can even call it cross court. I guess he was close enough to the middle of the court, but still the point stands. And well, will that beat off, let's say, flair, flamboyance, unnecessary flamboyance? Is that going to cost Arthur? Yes, it is, because it's deuce already. Not laughing anymore, Grosjean when Fils is that. Fils is that is really funny. Like he was just looking at someone who's sitting next to him and just like, yeah, why do we have to do it again? This could have just been an easy game. This could have just been cleaned up. But he will like this next point, that I can tell you. Lots of width from the backhand cross, and then Fils is really good on this inside and cleanup as well. So maybe he can still avoid this. But yeah, points played on serve so far: 60 for Arthur and 34 for Struff. And it says a lot about how close this match has been, despite the scoreline not really reflecting that. Well, Struff tries to go for a forehand return winner, but he misses it. So after all, the game goes to Fields. Should have been easier, but he'll take it anyway. And we've got 6-3, 1 all. Um, Nice slice approach from Struff. I think Arthur still hasn't hit a backhand winner this much. And yeah, you can see that in a lot of these defensive positions, he's not really able to do all that much. Good good like dip from the chair umpire. He had to crouch to avoid getting hit by the Struff serve here. Maybe this is also what Struff was apologizing for earlier. Maybe it wasn't to Fils, maybe it was to someone he almost hit or something like that. Following his serve to the net here, will easily put it away. Fils is not ready to give this to let this game go though. Not that we were expecting him to. But yeah, this seven volley approach just isn't gonna cut it from Struff. This is the sort of return placement that I was mentioning earlier in terms of serve placement that I was mentioning in terms of Fils. Just like middle of the service box to the forehand, it's usually a death sentence or death wish rather. Anyway, 150 kilometers an hour return winner, but the next serve is going to be unreturned. And now the second serve to potentially claim this game. Stay ahead and see if anything pops up from Struff. Just barely made that one, but he doesn't make the next shot. Was really playing with fire in this one, Struff. The backhand line was a little too close to the for comfort, and he kind of just overplays the next shot after that. I think it's pretty common. You land one that's barely in, and then you just straight up go for the next. And that one is just going to be even further. Another serve and volley from Struff. Okay, no, never mind. Seemed like maybe Fils will have some chances, but the forehand lob attempts, like he barely got to it, so it wasn't long enough. Probably one of the weaker volleys that Struff played the entire match, but still way more than good enough. The chance that Fils had after that one was like strictly theoretical, I would say. Anyway, game point Struff again. Approaches. I don't think he's winning the point though. Yeah, just had way too much time. Feeds after the second serve, approaching. Sometimes it's gonna work, but you definitely have to understand it's a risky play. Of course, Struff knows that, but the half volley here, yeah, just didn't really have any shot later. He had a racket on the ball actually, but Fils was just like gonna slam it hard enough that controlling it was never really going to be possible unless like maybe he like anticipated exactly right and got a lucky angle on the ball. I don't know, but not really. And now second serve at deuce. Oh, and a double fault. So this is a game point. This is a break point for Fields, and it won't quite end the match if he takes it. But the issues will just keep mounting up for Struff, for the Thunder. If Shapovalov was Shapo, then they should have just made him Struffy. I mean, the Thunder. Or maybe Struffy is like not. No, actually, they had Cocky as well. So, you can do it like, because you could say that Struffy doesn't sound like serious enough, right? But if Cocky sounds. It really should have been the Cock for Tanasi. It's just such a good nickname. You can make so many puns with it. I've seen great shirts with it as well. Just like, I don't know, it was like I don't remember what the exact phrase was, but it was like I can't stop thinking about the cock, or like I'm here for the cock. Oh yeah, someone had this shirt at a tennis event. I'm here for the cock, and that was really funny. Cocky, I guess you can maybe do some puns with cocky, but does Tanasi really want to be described as cocky? I mean, he is pretty cocky, so maybe. I guess you can be cocky and proud, right? You probably can. Another double fault for Struff. Already two in this game, two in this set, and well, two within the last 4 or 5 points, which again gets us to deuce. Yeah, two within the last four, I think. Tries going to the net. Is it in? He's asking his coach, and his coach is telling him not to challenge. Probably, right? Oh, yeah, and he doesn't connect with this backhand as well. So it's gonna be another breakpoint for Fields. Needs a big serve here. Needs something. Jan-Lennard Struff. This is another long game in a match that has been just filled with them. Second serve. I don't think he's gonna be serving volleying this time. Or maybe he will. Maybe he will surprise. I guess he could. Kicker to the backhand and serve volley. Well, he goes kicker down the middle. It's barely in, but Fields has the advantage in the point now, and he will convert it. He's going down the line with the forehand, trying to approach. If the Struff pass managed to get over the net, maybe it would have been tricky, but anyway, it doesn't. So 6-3 to 1. Feels in a great position to win the match, but it's still 4 holds from here, and obviously Jan-Lennard Struff has had many, many breakpoints in this match, so maybe it's not over. But yeah, it's Fields has what he wanted so far. Considering how this match has been going, I think this is pretty much the best that Fields could hope for because, well, needless to say, I mean, he's been not as dominant as the scoreline suggests. And Pavlos Tsitsipas, by the way, defeated Stefano Palossi, so we will have Striker Tsitsipas in the second round of a 25K. M25 or however you want to call it. I have to tweet this out. Obviously, I'll just say Striker versus Tsitsipas. Like I'm not gonna mention that this is just Pavlos, right? Still, probably many people unaware of Pavlos compared to Petros. Petros, great doubles player. He won a doubles event with on the ATP tour with Steph. Top 100 doubles up until recently, I think. Of course, he also had an ITF 25K final, I think. Pavlos, not quite the results, but his one-hander, I think, is the most beautiful in the family. Is he as good as Steph? Obviously not. Is he as good as Petros? Maybe. I think Petros isn't that bad. Like, people laugh at him, but if he was a little bit taller, I think he could have been a really awesome doubles player. Definitely has the touch, and, well, at least according to Steph, he has the work ethic. I'm not saying he doesn't, but I'm just saying we can't know that really. But I think Steph once called him like the most hardworking player he knows. Anyway, that's not important right now. And yeah, as I mentioned earlier, if you're interested in more Bercy content, definitely make sure to tune into Fritz Draper later. No, I'm not going to be there, but there's going to be a great team to allow you to enjoy that much. For now, Arthur Fils serving at 2-1 as I'm preparing that Sticker Tsitsipas tweet, so I might be a little bit quiet for a moment, but only for a moment. I mean, thankfully, I don't have that much to write. I'm sorry. I'm laughing at my own jokes. Sue me. I was just thinking about. Oh no. Okay, just realized I made a typo. But I was actually thinking about it recently, and I think laughing at your own jokes is great because if you're not gonna like your sense of humor, then who else will? It's kind of like all that motivational talk, that like if you don't like yourself, no one is gonna like you. It's pretty. It's quite right. Okay, 30 all. Feels finding this forehand. That's pretty clutch. Did I spell Tsitsipas right this time? Yes, I think I have. Tsitsipas is a horrible name to spell. I mean, obviously, we all know how it should be spelled. We all know how to spell it. It's not that tough to spell, in fact. But what is tricky about it is that simply it's pretty tough to sometimes like notice if the letters aren't swapped a little bit. So yeah, always have to make sure. Anyway, that forehand cross was actually 165 kilometers an hour from Fils. Jesus Christ. I didn't think it was that fast, but once again, I mean, I said it was clutch. I think right now it looks even clutch air. Anyway, ace down the tee, so 6-3-3-1. I mean, has Struff already made basically all the errors he could afford in this match, or actually enough errors that he couldn't afford them in this match on these breakpoints? Let's see. Fields just 3 holes away, and of course, he also has the possibility to look for a break here. It's a good block return, 15 love down. He's really like Struff is really making him scramble for balls here. And once again, on that backhand pass, there's not much that Fils can do. I think this is by far the thing that's like keeping Struff in this. The fact that he can really safely approach to that wing, and I don't think he's lost a point when he's doing it. He definitely hasn't been like passed specifically. He might have lost a point on like a reach volley, but I don't think so. Of course, he's serving well too. Off the ground, he could be better Struff today, but it's his game, right? It's definitely a bit all or nothing. So I also can't really criticize him for that, as well. It's just part of the style. This block return from Fils isn't going to work, so it's 40 love. Should be a quick game for Struff. And, well, he needs it now in the hopes to actually still keep fighting back. And yes, indeed, it's an ace. 6-1, 6-3, 3-2. Fils serving after the break. What do we have on the screen? Grigor Dimitrov, of course, earlier today defeating Thomas Martin Echeverry. I would like Grigor to make the ATP finals. I mean, I don't think he would do well there. I think actually, I mean, who actually will do well at the ATP finals? Obviously, Sinner, maybe Alcaraz if the courts, like if he somehow handles the quick courts. You also have Zverev, I guess, who's retired with his season. Djokovic, who might not even play this. Medvedev, who's actually, I don't know how Sinner doesn't win the ATP finals, to be honest. Like, I really have no clue who can stop him there. Other than Sinner and Alcaraz, everyone else is not in a good spot right now. So, in fact, maybe Grigor Dimitrov can qualify for the ATP finals and maintain his unbeaten record. If you guys remember, he's 100% at the ATP finals. He played one edition, won one edition, going 5-0, going unbeaten. Didn't need to face Roger, I don't think. Yeah, he definitely didn't. So he had an easy route there, but that was the 2017 edition when there was one favorite as well. It was literally Federer, and he didn't need to face him. So maybe we can have something similar. There's one favorite going into the ATP finals, Yannick. Yannick loses in the semis, never faces Grigor. Sounds realistic. I mean, I think it would be someone else probably more likely in this scenario rather than Grigor, but it's possible. But yeah, Grigor would be a good story, definitely, and I think it's slightly possible, but today he had to struggle. Stefanos, like, it would be wild if he made it, but maybe. Rune would be an interesting addition if he won this event and then also won like Belgrade or Metz, but I don't think it is going to happen. So likely it's just going to be the guys we expect, right? The big story here, I guess, this week is whether Deminor will pass Rublev or not. I think tomorrow is the deadline for the late entries into the 250s. So I expect that Rublev or that Rublev will play Belgrade or Metz after all, or at least sign up for now, and then maybe withdraw if it turns out that Deminor doesn't pass him. Well, it could turn out today that Deminor doesn't pass him, but then Deminor is also playing next week. So yeah, I guess Rublev should sign up anyway. Just don't want to give him the chance, right? Rude is obviously pretty rough at the moment as well. It's gonna be a fun, weird ATP finals. We're gonna have some players who are like barely winning at the moment, and who actually will be facing players who are also barely winning at the moment. Actually, maybe Fritz will like this opportunity. You know, he was already pretty good in the finals 2 years ago. So clearly he likes the courts. Played that good match against Novak, where I think he has this +1 backhand he can convert for a set or something like that, and doesn't make it. I remember the point, don't remember when it exactly happened, but pretty tough ball, shoulder height, but still, you as a pro, you have to put that away like 99% of the time. Of the forehand, he makes that 100 out of 100. Of the backhand, yeah, I guess we can allow him that one miss, which happened on that very point. Well, Fils with a nice combo here. Lots of precision on the forehand, first down the line, then cross court. Not much Struff can do, and it's 40-15. Netted backhand from Fils, not quite over this game. It does feel like the last few games, though, we are moving at a slightly more rapid pace in terms of the rallies and, of course, how the games are won and lost as well. Which, I mean, at this stage, when he's up a set and a break, obviously suits Arthur Fils. Second serve game point, are they just as good as his second serve's break point down? Well, they're not, the answer is. But Struff will net the forehand inside out, so 4-2 for Fils. Is there anywhere in the world you would rather be right now than the Congo? Good question. Bratislava. I think it's Bratislava still. I mean, Brazzaville Challenger is amazing, but yeah, maybe I would still rather be in Bratislava. What else? Is there a part of the world that I always wanted to see and I haven't? Probably not. So yeah, I'm gonna say Bratislava. That's my answer. I'd like to be watching Nardi Prismic right now, on the center court there, and go to court number 3 from time to time to check up on Lestian Kukushkin. Later, Marterer Wawrinka. Wawrinka playing his first hardcore challenger since 2005. And also, of course, the match of the day, Otto Virtanen, Lucas Klein. Klein 3-0 up in the head-to-head on Virtanen, never even allowed him more than 4 games in a set, which is insane. I really don't understand that head-to-head. If it holds up today, it's going to be a pretty weird story. Ooh, is this Fils just breaking through here? Let's see. Struff playing this pretty soft approach on the forehand slice, and for the first time in this match, Arthur Fils passes him on the backhand side. That shot is there, you see? That's what Arthur says to him now. You thought you were just gonna like keep hitting at my backhand. I'm gonna net it or give you an easy volley every time. No, that shot is there. That shot exists, and I'm gonna show it to you. Jan-Lennard Struff, the Thunder. This is what Fils said. Fils probably played UTS at some point too, right? I wonder what his nickname was. I don't know if there's a base of player nicknames that played there, or because I checked on UTS Frankfurt basically, so that's why I only had the nicknames of the 8 players that were there. But maybe there's like a UTS Wikipedia where they have all the nicknames from the past. We should do a ranking of UTS nicknames, a tier list of UTS nicknames. That's a lob from Fields, but it's not going to be good enough. I think Struff just lands that smash. That could have been a bit better. So they're giving me the winners and the finalists here on Wikipedia, and Berrettini is the hammer. That actually makes sense. Tsitsipas was the Greek god. Okay, I don't mind that, I guess. Felix the Panther. Okay, I'm sure. Zverev the Lion. That would be Karatsev, right? I mean, Karatsev is the lion. I like when these are like personal, like they strictly refer to one player. So like if you hear the name, you're probably gonna think of that player. And like Hammer is almost in the vicinity with Berrettini. I think it is very often used to describe his forehand, but I mean his serve or the forehand, really both. But the lion for Zverev or like the panther for Felix, I don't think so. The demon for the minor is obvious. The virtuoso for Gasquet, I guess it makes sense. The tornado for Mute is pretty insane. The hot shot for Fritz, it just doesn't make sense. G unit for Dimitrov, that's insane. The Viking, I guess, also works. The Bublik enemy, why? The power for Draper, because is that because of Phil Taylor? I don't know. If it is, then respect, obviously, as a darts fan. But if it's not, then no. And by the way, the Great Wall for Wu Yibing, like that's just racist. So, and it turns out that the Thunder is not only Jan-Lennard Struff, but also Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova, who, when they had women's UTS, won the event. Alize Cornet, the Volcano. Yeah, so I only see the nicknames for the past winners here, so I don't know if Fils ever played this event. I don't even, to be honest, I don't even know. Yeah, I guess some of them are okay. There's nothing though that like kind of really stands out as like, oh yeah, this is good. I like that. This is creative. Some of them are just obvious, like obviously Demon and Rublo, Chapo, the Viking, I guess, because he's Danish. But yeah, the Great Wall. I mean, that's just racist. Anyway, 6-3-4-3. Arthur Fils. Yeah, I can understand that position, Matthew. Yeah, I mean everyone will be out of form in Turin basically, and it might just be an event that Sinner cleans up if Alcaraz can't like suddenly adjust to the quick surface. Koulibaly title in his home continent would be great. Yeah, but I don't think he's gonna do it. I mean Emery is kinda in his home continent. Who can actually win it? I think Koulibaly is just too weak to win this event, to be honest, especially in clay. Crazy serve position. Okay. I mean, that's actually pretty tough to hit a winner down the line from there. So it's possible, especially if you cut it off early, but it's actually pretty tough to do it, especially on the first try. I think you were a bit unlucky, or maybe your serve was just really poor. I actually don't really try that myself because, yeah, I don't think I would be able to make it work. But I've definitely had it used against me, and hitting it down the line, yeah, it's not that easy. But yeah, Turin will be a mess, and we can even see it by the race to Turin. No one is like able to grab these points. Like everyone is just flopping basically. Ugo Humbert, by the way, defeated Marcos Giron 6-3, 6-2. Arthur Fils currently 40 love up. and even now takes the game. So 6-3, 5-3, and getting really, really close. Since that break in the second set, the match has really like sped up, and that's good for the player who was already a set in the break up, obviously. And Zizou Bergs and Adrian Manarino are stuck in the third set. So still quite a lot of action there at 2 games all. Bratislava Prizmic beating Nardi, by the way. Nardi has had a horrible, horrible season since beating Djokovic and then, of course, winning Naples as well. 2 pretty surprising results. Indian was around 4, Naples. That is like what, 250 points in a month or something like that. And since then, he's been a nightmare. Actually injured his ankle in Olbia as well recently. Maybe he's still not fit. I haven't been able to check up on this match today yet, Nardi Prizmic. If it is extended a little bit past Struff, then I'm going to. But yeah, looks like Nardi will actually not finish top 100 despite that Indian Wells Naples month. And Struff might not even live to the next game, it seems, because, well, Fields had that very energetic point to kick things off, and now we have the worst volley of the match from Struff. He completely floats that one. So it is love 30. And yeah, I think Apostolos will be probably coaching Pavlos for that streaker match, because when Pavlos went to Colombia, Apostolos was there with him. So I think that probably right now that he's kind of stepped away from the Steph team, I think he's working with Pavlos more so. Yeah, maybe Apostolos just learned from that streaker Tsitsipas match at the US Open and now is going to coach Pavlos for the win. Well, Struff survives for now, or at least doesn't get too much doesn't give his match points. Really deep forehand causing the error, but still 2 points away. Struff accelerating on the backhand cross, and this is exactly the forehand inside in that he was looking for, like 2-3 breakpoints. I'm saying that again. But yeah, he had this exact shot and he didn't make it. This time he's able to. So 30 all. Is this serve in for Struff? I don't think so. Whew. He's trying to like go hard at this forehand return, which I don't mind. I think in the very first game of the match, he hit a winner from exactly this position, but this one he just doesn't connect with at all. So game point for Struff now, despite being low 30 down. Now in this one, Fierce is moving like a cougar or whatever. I mean, yeah, that was pretty insane. Struff really had you know, what was in the lead. He seemingly is rushing Fields, but the way that Arthur just leaps towards that one forehand completely turns the points around. I mean, he is very motivated to try to end the game, to try to end the match right in this game, which is pretty understandable given you can't be sure that you're gonna serve it out next with how this match has been going on. Yeah, but this should be another good approach from Struff, and he puts that away with the second volley. So 5-3, one more game point for Struff. And that's going to be 5-4. So after the changeover, I mean, he was trying to avoid this, Fizz. He was trying to close out the match in this game. He had a lot of 30, but not the match point eventually. And after the changeover, he's going to be serving for the win for the first time. And well, Bublik and Rune coming on soon as well in Paris. We've got Bergs Mandarino at 3 games all in the third set. And of course, Fizz will be soon serving for the match. Later today as well, Petri Pericard, the Basel champion, takes on the Vienna runner-up Karen Khachanov. We've got the Minor against Kecmanovic in that match, which I already mentioned is pretty crucial for Alex because he needs 2 more wins to pass Rublev in the ATP finals race. Draper Fritz, which we're going to have on the channel with Vansh and Matt, I think. Zverev Grigspor, a few good matches between them this year, around Garros especially, where Talon was 4-1 up in the 5th set and choked completely. Kazo Shelton as well. The last match, of course, that was supposed to be a Sinner Shelton potentially, but Yannick withdrew with the illness. I think I already mentioned it this year, but I think Grigspor Zverev, like that match at Roland Garros, if it's on hard courts, Talon wins that from 4-1 double break, like for sure. Just because like even he was really nervous, but the serve just gets him through. I think it just maybe he loses 1 break, but he doesn't lose 2. Whereas on clay, suddenly there was just no way to win points when he was this tight. So I think that today he should have a shot at Zverev, especially as the German has been like constantly talking about being very tired with this season, and he looks like he is very tired with this season. Well, ace out wide from Fitz. Struff was debating here. You could see it. He was like thinking, should I approach after this ball? And then he kind of got punished for not making that decision because he was not like he was almost in no man's land. He was not behind the baseline. He was not in the middle of the court. Yeah. You could see he was thinking about it. The approach wouldn't have been that good, to be honest. Like I understand why he hesitated, but he paid the price. He's putting this away, and a great serve to get himself to 3 match points. And I think that's a win for Fields. That's a huge roar for him, yes, after this ace out wide. I mean, it kind of shows you how this match was, very tough, despite maybe looking like, 6-3, 6-4, pretty routine. So many long games in his on his serve in the opener, that's for sure. And yet, he was able to save all these break points, coming up with like these precise second serves under pressure, which wow, now he's also like roaring again. He's showing his bicep. Grosjean as well, Ljubicic, and of course his dad there. Very happy about this one. Yeah, I think it's just the kind of win that Arthur needs right now. Right? I mean, we are still sort of waiting for him to develop the consistency at the top, to not mix up these really good results with just some random losses. And today, like just a little less clutch, and suddenly it becomes very, very close. So I think avoiding that is definitely a positive step for him. Struff is leaving the court now. Still definitely gave a good showing. He has just come back from small hip injury. I think he played fine. He defeated Musetti in the opening round. Now he also loses to Fils, which was going to be a tough draw. I think in these conditions he could hope for a win. Definitely could, but of course, just on the day he wasn't able to get it. Some good tactics from him for sure. I mean, just approaching at the backhand so many times, utilizing the power, like the lack of danger that comes from that wing when you're playing Fils. But in the long run, it just wasn't enough because he couldn't convert these breakpoints. Like that's really all that this match was about, right? The 8 breakpoints in the opening set. And besides that, Struff was just as good as Fils today. It's just that he was not as clutch as Fils. And let's see who Fields is going to play next. Actually, it's Zverev or Hicksport. So, yeah, very interesting match either way. Against Talon, he would be a slight favorite, maybe, given the conditions. It's closer than it usually would be, I think. And against Zverev, yeah, it would be a huge match. I mean, 3 hours and 31 minutes this year in the Hamburg final between them. So, we would be hoping for a bit of a repeat of that. Adrian Manarino 4-3 in the third over Zizubeks with a break. So we will soon know if he actually is able to take this one in the end. And well, from me today, it's going to be all. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for all the comments in the chat. It was fun as usual to watch this match with you. Fields moves on. Fields is about to have his first huge ATP 1000 run. Wouldn't be surprising. Anyway, we will monitor that as the week goes on. Fritz Draper, make sure to tune in for that. And I'll see you guys some other time. See ya.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis. you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.